Time team have come to Blaenavon in South Wales to solve a very big mystery, to try and find the world's first railway viaduct. Back in 1790, when the Industrial Revolution came to Wales, the ironmasters of Blaenavon started building on a massive scale. Those blast furnaces down there, casting houses, quarries, coal mines, and this, a 10-arch railway viaduct, crossing the valley over there to take the coal out of the hillside to fuel the furnaces down there. What makes this viaduct even more interesting are what appear to be workers' houses. People were actually living underneath the arches. What's even stranger is that 25 years after it was built, the Blaenavon viaduct disappeared off the face of the earth. There's no record of it having been demolished, so it must be here somewhere, but where? We've got just 3 days to find out. We know that our lost viaduct crossed a valley, but which one? This part of South Wales is full of them. What we do know is that Blaenavon, from the very beginning of the Industrial Revolution, was both home and workplace for hundreds of coal miners, iron workers and their families. But in a few short years, what was once a rural landscape was changed forever. Millions of tons of spoil from the mines and ironworks completely covered the land and swallowed up all evidence of the workers' lives and our viaduct. I can understand how you might lose something like a Roman coin.
Yes.
But how do you lose a complete viaduct?
Well, I think the answer is that the whole landscape has been transformed. There's nothing of the original landscape here, and the whole thing is buried in tip material and waste material from the industries. And so they fill the valley up and buried the viaduct in the bottom.
Pete, when we say that we've got a viaduct, what kind of railway would it have been carrying?
Well, we're talking about a primitive railway, bearing in mind that Britain was the home of the evolution of the railway. And so in this instance, we're talking about small wagons being pulled in trains by horses. Nothing to do with locomotives. When this was built, the locomotive hadn't even been thought of.
Why did it only last 25 years? That doesn't seem economically very sound.
Well, I suppose it's a reflection of the speed that things were moving in the Industrial Revolution. It was a revolution. Things were moving so fast with the mines being developed, the growing scale of the ironworks, that they had plans for something that they needed to use initially, but 25 years later, they'd moved on to other areas.
Should be quite a doddle to find, shouldn't it? It's pretty big.
Yeah, we've got lots of problems, though. I mean, we don't know where the valley is to start off with.
What do you mean?
Well, the whole landscape has changed so much, we don't know where the valley sides are. But we think the valley's near to the gorse there.
Yeah.
So that's the starting point for us. We need to look more deeply into the ground.
So it's a radar job, is it?
Well, we are going to use radar, but also electrical imaging, a variation of the
Right.
resistance,
Yeah.
to try and find the valley sides initially.
Yeah.
Once we've found the valley sides, then we can start looking for the viaduct. But, you know...
It's a different sort of problem to normal, isn't it? I mean,
We've got to find the environment,
Yeah.
and only then can we start looking
that's
for the
right.
archaeology.
And then I suspect the excavation is going to be done with a huge machine if it's a bigger structure as we think.
Are you confident?
I wouldn't say confident, but there's got to be something there, hasn't there? And it would be fantastic if we found it.
And John will find it for us.
No problem.
With the heavy artillery arriving on site in anticipation of a big excavation, and Geophysics trying to find the valley sides, it's left to the surveying team to gather any clues from what we know to be a completely man-made landscape. Their first target isn't the viaduct, but the row of cottages alongside, the salubriously named Coal Tar Row.
Pretty close to the other end of the row.
So that's where it is it? That's where coal tar cottages
With
are.
a certain amount of confidence, we think this is where they are, yeah.
Coal Tar Row is this one here, isn't it?
That's right. Just where those two people stood is more or less where we're stood now. By using different techniques through David's aerial transcription and me working back through old maps here, we've come to a planned position for where these cottages ought to be. Within 2 or 3 metres, this is where they ought to be.
David, why are we chasing late 18th century houses when what we're after is an enormous viaduct?
Well, it's these houses that really give us our only real fix to where the viaduct is, because we know that the tram road which led to the viaduct was coming right along the front face of this building. So if we can find this corner, we should be able to find the location for where the viaduct starts and then heads out in that direction over there.
So what does what they've done mean about where we should be digging?
Well, it is crucial that we do actually prove the accuracy of the surveying. And I think from the look of the buildings and how close the tramway is to the front of the building, that we really could do it with quite a small trench.
I'm keen that we go this side. That will show us the houses on that side, but we get as far this way as we can to see whether the level of the tramway does survive on this side.
So what sort of size are you thinking of, Phil?
Well, I reckon about, I don't know, probably about 10x5. If these guys' accuracy is as good as they say it is, about a 10x5 with a little bit of scope for an enlargement.
So what are we waiting for?
It's almost lunchtime and Trench 1 is finally underway. Even though we think we're in the right place, we've no way of knowing how deep the cottages are buried. It could be as little as 2 metres, or it could be as much as 5.
Some rubbishy old stuff, isn't it? That's concrete. See, when they put that down, that could have done no end of harm to a row of cottages, couldn't it?
With Geophys still looking for the valley and the gorse bushes, Carenza and her team of diggers have started Trench 2 on a suspicious-looking raised area on the other side of the field, the possible site of the lime kiln manager's house. So how far do you reckon we are from the main site here?
About 200 metres from the viaduct, I think.
What you got, Carenza?
Well, we know we're outside the house here. We can see we've got the drain at the front there.
When you say we're outside the house, was all this one house?
Well, we don't know. That's what we're really wanting to try and find out here, because there's some evidence to suggest that this might have been the site of the lime kiln manager's house, in which case we'd expect it to be bigger than the rest of the cottages, maybe have different sorts of finds with it, and that's what we're really trying to prove up here.
Well, it's another bit of the site which we need to understand, but if this was the manager's house, we'd expect the house and indeed the finds to be substantially different to those down there, which are just back-to-back cottages as far as I could see.
You see the ironworks houses, they're always represented as the sort of houses ordinary working people would have lived in, but they're really a far higher standard. It's the ordinary workers' houses we know very little about. The people who lived here from the beginning to the end were just ordinary working people. Brick workers, lime kiln workers, never would have earned a great deal of money, but they would have had to work really hard for it.
So this isn't just archaeology, this is a blow for the workers. I like this. It's mid-afternoon and Geophys are still plotting and puzzling over the valley sides. To add to the delay, it looks like Trench 1 is covered with a layer of 1950s concrete. And to make matters worse, over at Trench 2, they've uncovered what appear to be a row of 3 small cottages, not the lime kiln manager's house. But at least they've come up with the first finds of the day.
And I think that's roof slate, isn't it? That would look, yeah, so we've got cottages with a slate roof, and this is presumably all 19th, 20th century stuff. Yeah.
And this window glass, which is enormously thick.
It's very coarse, isn't it? I mean, look at the irregularity in that. Yeah. You wouldn't have got much of a view through that.
No, but keep the wind out, I suppose.
I love the doorknob. That's fantastic.
Right.
And that's Bakelite, isn't it? So presumably that's
fairly old.
Yes, but all from the last phase of when the cottages were being lived in. And we've obviously got 2 walls in the trench here. They're part of our cottage, presumably. Do we know how it was laid out?
I don't know that we do we, Nick?
No, not yet. We're not sure which way they're orientated. We don't know which is the garden. We really need to dig a bigger area.
Right, but it'd be nice to find some real details of the house, like the hearth and maybe the loo and the midden in the back garden or something.
It would be really nice here to actually end up with a plan of the whole site, of all the row of cottages, all 3 cottages.
Although these lime kiln cottages were contemporary with our late 18th century viaduct, they were also lived in until the 1970s, which explains the modern finds, but doesn't give us a clue to the position of the manager's house.
And that's the corner.
But a visit from a couple of locals who once lived in what was called the Big House may be able to shed some light on its location. Or maybe not.
Where do you think your house was?
Our house would be from there to there, wouldn't it? They've got to be around here.
Well, those houses over there. Not there, over there.
You said you had a big garden out here.
Yeah, the big
and
garden
the
in the
house
front
was
area there on the side of the road. My garden wall used to come from there.
Right
down here. Straight down.
So it would come in a line like
That's
that.
down there. And the house is that side.
No, it was this side, but never mind.
I think the thing this shows is we really need to dig and try and find the foundations of this house. We will try and find it for you over the next couple of days. We want to find it, you want to find it. You come back and have a look and see if you recognise it.
Daddy's sword.
Over in Trench 1, our diggers hit a major problem in the search for the cottages of Coal Tar Row. We've reached the 6-metre limit of the digger's arm, which means we can't go down any further without considerably widening the excavation. Phil, last time I was here, you said, we'll dig a tiny hole. They were your words.
Yeah, but you also wanted a big hole, didn't you? So we decided to do what you wanted to. There was a big slab of concrete on the top that went right the way across. We'd gone through that, and then we went into this grey stuff, and we weren't sure whether or not it was natural. But look what it's got in it. Fragments of drain pipes.
Truth.
And so we think that that is all tip waste. There is no demolition rubble from the cottages. There are no land surfaces. It all lies it's just continuous. And so there's every possibility that the cottages actually are still down there.
So what does that mean for our viaduct?
Well, the problem with this is that we've no reason to believe that we're not on the site of the cottages. If we believe Stuart and David's surveying, we could be a metre or two out, but we've no reason to believe we're not on the site. But so the site could still be down there. In a way, our only hope is to see whether, geophys have been working over there can amplify that, I suppose.
Well, we've actually got a nice chunky anomaly over there, Mick.
Right.
Now, we haven't found the valley sides, which does concern me in view of that.
Yeah.
But we've got something that's really good. I mean, it's in the imaging, it's in the radar. It's about 4 or 5 metres wide, but it seems to be only a metre down. But it's going down 5 metres below that.
Can we have a look at that?
Well, I think we need to look at that.
It's the next obvious step, isn't it?
If you're going to stop here, we'll give you a target there.
Well, what I'm concerned about is the safety of this hole. I want to get it filled in.
Yeah.
Even though we haven't found the cottages, what this trench has revealed is just how much rubbish and spoil have been dumped over the site, which means that our viaduct, wherever it is, could be very deep indeed. It's taken them all day, but at least geophys have finally got a target that could well be our lost viaduct.
Here, the imaging. You can see that really clear anomaly. I mean, that is about 4 or 5 metres wide, and it just looks as though it's going down. And then if we look at the radar, here, you can see all the patterns there in exactly the same place. I'm confused, though, because if it's a viaduct, we'd expect the opposite sort of results.
What would you expect from a viaduct?
We'd normally expect a stone viaduct to give high resistance results.
Because of the stonework.
Because of the stonework. This is giving low. Now, it could be that there's water between the walls.
Right.
Maybe a bit wishful thinking.
You mean less water than there is in the rubble around?
In the rubble around. We've got to dig it to find out what it is.
Where is
really.
it?
Well, it's actually by the brolly and the ranging pole
Over
there.
here?
Yeah.
Well, I think we've got to get on and bring the machine in.
It's a bit of a crisis, really, isn't it? We've already dug what I think must be the largest hole we've ever dug on day one in Time Team and found absolutely nothing. If we don't find anything there, then quite frankly, I don't think any of them have got the slightest clue what we can do next. So keep your fingers crossed. So what do we do now?
Well, this is the chunky anomaly, Tony. We want to put a trench right across it and extend from one end to the other. So I think if I just spray the line, then Phil can actually dig the hole.
We'll bring the digger in. OK, Phil. Yeah, take that out of the way. If it goes round that way, go round that way.
Yeah, all right.
So dig on this side and spoil on that. Cool. Get me brolly.
Yeah.
I can get used to this. I'll get away, I'm
Let's go out the way.
At last, the search for the viaduct is finally underway. But it looks like our mechanical digger may be working into the night to try and find John's chunky anomaly, whatever that may be. It's been a disappointing day all round, not finding the cottages of Coal Tar Row and finding lime kiln cottages when we were looking for a big house. But now, confusion is turning to real concern, as the search for our lost viaduct uncovers even more modern rubbish.
Look at that tackle there.
This is getting more like civil engineering than archaeology. Help! It's the end of day one. All we've found down here so far have been oil cans and bricks and black plastic bin liners. But the viaduct's got to be down here somewhere. Will we find it tomorrow morning? Beginning of day two, and we're still looking for this massive 10-arch late 18th century viaduct, which we can't find hide nor hair of. Last night we were chasing a chunky anomaly, which geophys think is somewhere down there. But since then, all this heavy machinery has been ordered up, and everyone's having civil engineering type meetings with very, very stony faces. John, where's the chunky anomaly?
Well, it's there, Tony. It's a massive pile of bricks with a big rubbish tip cut into the side of it. Unfortunately, it's not the viaduct.
So what do we do now?
Well, there's been a lot of midnight oil burnt last night, and we've decided that what we need is a big hole to get down to the right level. But before we do that, we've got to be absolutely certain that Stuart and Dave know that we're in the right place. So I've asked them again, are we in the right place?
We've checked and we've double checked. And we've even got hold of another map, which is 1880, which has got some annotations on it, which actually show the entrance to which the viaduct was going.
Which are over there.
So it's more confirmation that the line of the viaduct came straight out from the line of Coal Tar Row, which we've already established.
So essentially, we're just going to dig a huge hole and hope that somewhere at the bottom of it we find our viaduct.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we've got extra machinery already, and we've got more machinery on the way. I mean, it will be a really big hole. And I mean, you reckon we can actually dig that sort of hole in this area?
Oh, absolutely no problem at all. I mean, with these sorts of buried landscapes, you're dealing with these enormously deep levels of dumping and things, and we have to have a different mindset on archaeology. This is industrial archaeology on an industrial scale, but it can be done.
I know you're going to ask me, how big is the hole going to be? Well, we've been doing a little bit of calculations, and we reckon, like, if you had a 30 by 30, and we've already been down 6 metres, so if we have to go down, say, 10 metres, that could be 30 by 30 by 10. That's going to be 9,000 cubic metres. At a cubic metre equals 1 tonne. We're looking at about 10,000 tonnes of dirt. It's awesome, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you reckon we can do that in 2 days?
Well, I think so. I mean, they got on very well with these two holes yesterday, didn't they? I mean, it didn't take them very long, so I feel quite confident about that.
So we're going to put all our resources into shifting 10,000 tonnes of bin liner and bricks and earth in 2 days. But even if we manage it, we still might not get down far enough to hit the viaduct. Are you nervous?
Yeah.
This is what they call a high-risk strategy.
There it is. It's going to be a slow old job, isn't it?
I think so. We're going to be here for ages.
Look, it's still all this old rubbish, though, isn't it?
With the arrival of another 25-tonne digger and a huge dumper truck, our new Trench 4 is about to take on epic proportions. In fact, I think the word trench is about to become inadequate. Trenches 1 and 3 are quickly absorbed into the big hole. Yesterday, Trench 2 at the far end of our field uncovered a row of 3 small cottages, when in fact we were looking for the lime kiln manager's house. Carenzas met up with retired miner Gleithin Mapstone, who remembers very clearly the 3 small cottages and the big house.
So, Gleithin, you used to live here, did you, when the cottages were still standing?
Not actually here. I lived just over there in a little road called Stable Road. But I had relatives living here. Actually,
you had relatives?
I had
right.
Relatives. Actually, here's usually their house was.
That's the steps down into the garden? What we're really looking for, what we're really interested in, is the house that would have belonged to the lime kiln manager. We're looking for a house that might be a bit bigger.
Ah, that would be there. I remember it.
There was a
very
house
well.
there?
There was a house there. Yeah, a large one.
On its own?
Yes, with a nice big garden. It was
That-
larger than these. These were 3 small cottages.
Right.
This was a bit impressive to me as a young lad.
Yes, so it was thought it was the big house.
And I-
Can you remember exactly where it was?
Yeah, and then, yeah.
You say it had a garden in front of it, did
It
it?
did, a nice big garden. I remember the garden
You
more than
remember the
house, but I
garden?
remember the house because it was a bit impressive. Just a few yards in front of us, say about there, roughly.
The garden here.
Roughly, yeah. I remember a lovely, I think it was roses, an arch of roses come into the garden. I
And
can
how long
never
ago
remember
was
that.
this?
Oh, let me see, it would be 53, 54 years
50
ago.
years ago. Right.
Yeah, I was a toddler.
So do you think if we put in a trench, opened up an archaeological trench and say ran it, well, from about here up towards that fence, we'd probably find the front of the house?
Probably.
So based on Gleathan's memory of the big house, Trench 5's opened up adjacent to the fence that borders our site. Before the lime kiln cottages trench is finally closed down, the pottery finds are carefully examined to see if we can get accurate dating evidence and find out more about the workers who lived here.
Looks to be fairly, I'd say, cheapware.
Right.
Which you
That's
probably would
interesting.
associate with the people living here in the cottages.
Now, how can you tell? Because I mean, we just found this willow pattern. You can buy this new in the shops today. How can you tell that it's that old?
The colours of the wares do change and the shapes change slightly over time, and you can generally pinpoint them to within a few years. First glance, I think we've got stuff here which is definitely the first half of the 19th century. I mean, we're probably looking at 1820s, 1830s.
Really? 1820s, right back into our period.
Our mechanical diggers are quickly making what can only be described as a great big mess of our field, but our big hole has been planned with engineering precision. The sides will be carefully angled to avoid landslides, and the spoil heap positioned to avoid the civil engineering equivalent of painting yourself into a corner. As we go ever deeper, there seems to be some real concern as to how deep we may have to go to find the viaduct. The only way to get an accurate idea of how deep it may be buried is for Bernard to laboriously survey the relative heights of the land surfaces. With the original entrance to the mine workings buried somewhere inside the hillside and our main site covered in modern tipping to an unknown depth, it's extremely difficult to pinpoint any land surfaces that haven't changed height over the past 200 years.
I think the critical thing that we need to know is the difference in height between the top of the blast furnaces out there, where they're bringing the trucks to offload the iron and so on, and the middle of the field that we're going to dig the big hole in. In other words, how far down have we got to go to the viaduct with the tramway on the top,
right,
from the existing ground surface?
Just looking at the raw numbers, there's 370 here in front of the coke ovens, 377 up at the top of the coke ovens, which is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And then if we move up to the
377.
That's going across that football field. Well, that's all made ground, I think.
Yes, yes.
This is now coming into our field. This is where we reckon coal tar cottages was 381, nearly 382. So 377 to 382, we've got about 5 metres.
If you find it's any more than that, don't tell anybody and give me a ring, will you?
I'll run for the hills.
Okay,
thanks.
I'll see you later.
Blaenavon Ironworks is an archaeological rarity, an early industrial revolution landscape that hasn't been demolished or buried deep under an inner city. The aim is to secure a World Heritage Site listing, which will put Blaenavon on an archaeological par with Stonehenge and Hadrian's Wall and preserve it forever. Time Team are going to try and recreate, albeit on a tiny scale, what it must have been like to work here when the furnaces were quite literally at full blast.
Well, we're going to make some, we're going to pour iron in this place.
Yeah.
For, I think, the first time in 100 years.
So how do we make the actual iron?
The iron is melted in this furnace here. And this furnace is a small scaled down version of the furnace back there.
So there would have been a massive furnace in where those arches are?
Yes, that's right. It's sort of, that goes right to the top of the hillside. And the 3 ingredients are fed from the top, and then the iron is tapped out of the bottom, and the iron then came into this shed.
What were the 3 ingredients?
And there's coke, there's iron ore, and there's limestone, and they're fed from the top.
And where did they get those from?
The materials were here. That's why this place started in this place, because there's plenty of iron ore on top of the hillside. There's coal, that's converted into coke, and then there's limestone quarries around the area.
So is there anything I can do to help?
Yes, we need some iron ore. From the hillside.
Off the hillside,
yeah.
right, okay. I'll see you later on.
Okay.
Harvey and his team of expert iron makers are very experienced in casting iron by remelting old chunks of radiator, but they've never tried smelting from Blaenavon ironstone. So until they see the results of a test casting, they'll not be happy. It may well be a disaster if the iron ore is of too low a grade. That's assuming I can find any. Mick and Stuart have gone off to get a better idea of the scale of tipping that's destroyed the Blaenavon landscape.
It's quite difficult now when you get into the industrial valleys to imagine what they were like, even 200 years ago. I suppose in the late 18th century when the viaduct was running, all you would see would be odd little cottages, lots of tramways. There's very little of the original land surface here at all.
Well, this is all done, isn't it? You can see
it is. All these fingers of debris pushed down the hillside. And down there, you see the valley that's coming down from the pond? That's one of these races where the ironstone workers were actually deliberately scouring out the valley to expose the ironstone band.
The scouring of the hillside races for ironstone started way back in the early 17th century, but the evidence of their industry is still plain to see. John?
Hello, Tony.
Is this the kind of landscape that people would have been finding iron ore in 200 years ago?
Ah, it certainly is. We've found it all over the place here.
And who would have been doing the collecting?
Many a times young girls, young women.
What sort of age?
Oh, maybe 8, 10 years of age, up to about 18, 20 years of age.
What kind of hours would they have been working?
Well, you could be here from sun up in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, maybe 10 o'clock at night. Near where we're standing now, in 1860s, there's a 13-year-old girl here, and Elizabeth Jones, working. She's working in a bank, undercutting the iron, and it just falls out. It weighs about 3 tons. She's so squashed they can't even take her clothes off her. They have to take her brains home in a bonnet.
Horrible story. So is there any iron ore around here now?
Oh, lots of it. Tons and tons of it. You tell it's dark brown, and you just try picking it up. It's very heavy.
Is that coal over there?
Well, there have been coal here as well. They would have collected that at the same time. It's not brilliant, but it'll burn.
Must have been a heck of a job getting it back down to the bottom of the hill.
Well, you're going to find that out for yourself now, aren't you?
Oh, thank you very much. Yes, I will. I'll see you. Blimey! I'll see you later.
Cheerio.
I think I might chuck it down piece by piece. For Harvey's test casting, he's decided to make a replica of the Time Team logo, and he's enlisted Victor to carve the wooden pattern. My pitiful offering of Blaenavon ironstone is now pounded into furnace-sized chunks. Our miniature blast furnace is then charged with a carefully weighed-out mixture of ironstone, coke and limestone. Teamwork's the key here, to keep the fire fed and the temperature constant, while at the same time preparing the moulds for pouring.
You know, it really is amazing in here, isn't it?
You haven't seen nothing yet. Wait till that iron starts pouring out of there. That's something else.
Absolutely amazing. I mean, you put this furnace in here, you put people in here, you put moulds in here. The place comes alive. It's what it was built for.
Big Hole is now almost 5 metres deep and still no sign of the viaduct. Back at the incident room, Bernard's depth figures are being radically revised.
We're well down and it's still not showing up.
Oh dear.
So, any change of ideas?
So if we go back to basic, the minimum level that has to be achieved at this end is at the top of the blast furnace.
Yeah.
Can't be any lower than that.
No,
that blast furnace was there. And what level is that?
That's 370.
And at the field at the far end of the site, the field into which the mine went, no, it can't be higher than that.
That's the one with the adits in the bottom.
That's right, the mine went under that hill.
And that's 390.
So that's 390 metres.
So you're talking about a maximum of 20 metres?
That's right.
Right.
Assuming the worst case scenario, the level for the line coming across there, we've got a 20 metre drop.
Yeah.
Now, the field surface,
382,
382 there.
So you're talking about a maximum of 12 metres anyway for
12
that?
metres is the worst case scenario
Right.
to get down to the blast
Right.
furnace. Now, the significance of that is we've already dug down to 5 and 6 metres.
About that,
and
yeah.
not found anything.
No.
The importance of this is that we mustn't give up. This is what they're trying to say. The line's unlikely to go down.
No.
The need for a viaduct. So don't give up. If it doesn't turn up at 6 or 7 or 8, you've got to keep pushing them on in there to not give up on it.
Right.
If we get to 12 or 13 metres and there's nothing, then it's a different...
Then we'll start panicking.
Different story.
I'll go out and have a word with Mick, because that's quite a long way down yet. OK, I'll see you later.
Am I mysteriously thinking that I can see it?
So far, so good. The local ironstone seems to have yielded enough molten iron for the test casting of our Time Team logo. The base of the furnace is now full of white-hot liquid, and Phil's got to act quickly to lance the mouth of the furnace so that the molten iron can be collected and poured.
Here it comes. Yep.
That's it, we're good.
I reckon that's good, isn't it?
Yeah, that's fine. Just look at the pattern on that.
There's still no guarantee that the test has worked. The iron could still develop a crack in the long cooling period. Over at Lime Kiln Cottages, Carenza's managed to borrow a mechanical digger so that the search for the manager's house can be widened and deepened. The strategy immediately pays dividends.
Is that part of the wall down there? Because that's on the same alignment, isn't it?
Well, I'm going to have a quick look.
OK.
Looks pretty solid.
It sounded solid when the digger hit it, didn't it? Is it mortared in?
Yeah, and there's the floor, look.
Oh, that's the brick floor coming through again.
Butting up against it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's really nice.
We finally got structure. This is what we've been looking for. We finally got it. Do you think we should take the trench back a bit further now while we've got the JCB?
I think, yeah, if we've got a big wall coming up through there,
Yeah.
we want to see what's on the other side.
Katie,
of it.
what's that thing just behind you, that vertical brick thing in the trench? Is that part of a wall, do you think? Is that in situ? It looks the same sort of alignment, doesn't
Yeah, there's timber here as well, look. You can see.
Yeah, hang on, let me...
Brilliant. Ooh, a standing wall as well. Got a lot more of the building.
Is that a door frame?
Could be.
Could be.
Yeah. We've got a lot more of the building here than we
I
thought,
dare to
really.
hope.
This is fantastic.
There's excavations of a kind over at the ironworks as well, where our still red-hot Time Team logo is prized from the steaming mould. It's still touch and go whether the process has worked, but Phil's confident that his delicate touch will do the trick.
Oh! Oh! I think we may have split it. That's annoying. Yeah, we split it.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Oh, look at that. I don't believe it. You really thought we'd screwed it up, didn't you?
No, I just wanted you up. I knew that had happened.
Look at that. It's an absolute cracker. Oh, I don't believe it. Oh, look at that.
End of day 2 in our search for the missing viaduct. We've already shifted 4,500 tonnes of this muck, which means there must have been something valley-sized that needed to be filled in. So we're pretty confident we've found the valley that we're looking for. Down there, we've hit some kind of grey clay floor, and tomorrow we're going to get the radar boys in to see if they can come up with some more information. And when we've got their results, we're going to send the digger in. Join us tomorrow for our final throw. It's got to be down there somewhere. Beginning of day 3, and we're still digging the biggest hole we've ever dug on Time Team in our search for the lost 18th century railway viaduct. But meanwhile, down here at Lime Kiln Cottages, we've got the first real archaeology that I've seen in the 3 days. Carenza, what is all this?
Well, isn't that a fantastic sight to finally see some...
A floor?
Yep, 2 floors. A floor there, stone, brick floor there, and we've got walls standing to about 3 or 4 feet high in the section, which is really unusual on an archaeological dig. Normally we only get foundations. We feel like we're clearing up after the Blitz, to be quite honest.
Except that all these finds look to me pretty modern.
Well, that's what I thought at first, and I was worried about. Some of them obviously are like that, but David reckons some of it is a lot older. Is that right, David? Are you still sticking by that?
Yeah, certainly am. I think there's more than enough stuff here to take you back into the middle of the 19th century.
Like what?
Well, that, for example, a piece of the family's best tableware, one of the printed dinner plates.
With no finds of any sort, Mick is definitely worried, and Phil's trying to be philosophical.
They seem very confident with the measurements and everything.
Well, I mean, we ain't gonna dig another hole somewhere else, not today.
We'll be lucky to have
So
it done
we
today.
got to go with this one.
Yeah, be lucky to have it done today.
You know, all the logic says it's here.
Yeah.
And there's no good reason why it can't. Damn it! We've only just got to the bottom of the modern disturbance.
Yeah.
It takes us 3 days.
You could almost walk through the house, we've got so much of it left. Going right up across here, see all the cobbles laid up beautifully regularly, where we've got a stone wall standing, I said 3 feet high, carrying on round here into the corner.
Is this bit the same house?
Well, we don't know, we need to get the sort of layout sorted out, but certainly we've got another room there, you can see the intersection of the walls there, another one here, and then here we're into yet another room. You really get a feeling of walking through it like this, and it's just carrying on.
This whole metal here, John?
Ah, now that is probably came out of your house, I think. It was probably used as a lintel. But it's got a much longer history than that. It's a piece of early rail. And you can see on this early railway, this upright here guided a wheel.
Yes.
And you can see this plain wheel is cut into the cast iron.
That's where, is
That's
it?
all where.
So that's another clue that it's early.
Another clue that it's early.
When you say
Give us a
early.
date. Yeah.
Give you a date. 1796, sound all right?
Brilliant.
Excellent.
That's fantastic. That's exactly what
Well, that takes our story back a bit, doesn't it? Back to the earliest days of the Blaenavon ironworks, when horse-drawn trams took coal and iron across our viaduct to the blast furnaces. After yesterday's successful test casting, Harvey and Phil are today going to attempt something far more ambitious, to try and make a set of iron wheels for a late 18th century tram car. Using a rusty old wheel as a pattern, it's first covered in a fine powder, then placed in a sandbox. The next step is to make the sand mould, and it's here where the greatest skill is required. The packing of the sand is critical to avoid any air bubbles and potential disaster when the molten iron is poured. Removing the wheel pattern from the sand mould is a bit like making sand castles on the beach. You don't know it's worked until the very last minute. But our first tram wheel has come out perfectly. With the big hole taking up most of the field, geophys have nowhere left to survey, so they've hit the road, looking for one last piece of confirmatory evidence.
We've got 137 metres.
With Big Hole now bottoming out at 6 metres, it's time to introduce Digger Cam. It's just too dangerous now for us to go down there, so Mick the Dig is learning how to be a cameraman so that he and Rob can descend into the abyss and supervise the excavation. Until the diggers stop and it's safe for us to go down, Mick and Rob are going to be our eyes and ears.
What makes me optimistic about that is it shows a variation, which, if it was all the same, I feel it's a bit suspiciously modern.
The geophys survey of the road is almost complete, and the results are once again looking good.
We've done a whole transect right along the road now for about 200 metres or so.
Yeah.
Now, look, if I play the results back, we can see it coming along. We're just seeing tarmac, very little else going on. But look at this.
Oh.
This massive anomaly coming in there.
Where's that on the ground?
Well, we're getting Bernard to tie it in.
Right, Bernard, you're on our spot here, are you?
Yes, this is the one you wanted to pick up. These 4 little flags here are the 4 corners of coal tar cottages that we set out initially from the map evidence. And that point up there is the projection for this side of the viaduct. And the cross up there is where we are now.
plotted on a map, this latest evidence is more confirmation that our big hole is right on the line of the viaduct.
That structure that John's got there might be the entrance to the mine and the platform they build out from it onto the hillside, leading to the viaduct, which goes through that direction. I think it's great.
You don't think it's just dirt, it's grey stuff I thought was... Well, they've got to really dig down into it.
Over 6 metres down at the bottom of the hole, Mick and Rob have spotted that the digger has uncovered what looks like dressed stone.
Do you think it's building stone, or do you think it's just dump in the bottom of the trench?
They're not from the same source of deposit as these. They're quite different geologically. Not much sign of mortar on them, and they don't appear to be in situ.
With the diggers having a tea break, it's time for Geophys to have one last shot at giving us a hit. Using radar and imaging at 6 metres below gives them the opportunity of penetrating the earth to an even deeper level. But the accumulated water in the ground could give rise to misleading results. Bad weather's closed down the excavation at the lime kiln manager's house, but not before it answered our original question.
Well, what we wanted to know was whether this was the house that was lived in by the manager of the lime kilns. And I think this floor here holds the clue. But it's too poor a floor. It's not a floor that would have been part of an inside building, like a living room. But it's very good quality. It's been beautifully laid out. And our best guess at the moment is it's something like a stable. So it's an inside building, beautifully made. And if this house had stables with it, I think that's the sort of house that the manager would have been living in, not one of the workers.
So now we know the layout of the manager's house and the 3 nearby cottages, we can offer a graphic illustration of what they may have looked like when our viaduct was in full operation. With the furnace firing at 1500 degrees, it's time to pour the first tram wheel.
Yep. And some more, yeah. Keep on. That's it. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Do you like that then?
Oh, that was something else, wasn't it? We've made a wheel.
Yeah, I know.
It's as quick
We're
as
going to make another one in a minute.
We'll make another wheel in a minute.
We can make another one and another one.
Back from lunch and back in the hole. Geophys are still processing their results, so we've got to press on without them. We've now only got a few hours left to find the viaduct. Digging a hole within a hole is a tricky and dangerous business. We can only excavate down a further 6 metres, the length of the digger's arm. If we don't find it now, we're never going to find it. To make matters worse, it started to pour with rain. Are we downhearted? No, especially when John gives us the good news.
I've got the rest of the results printed out now.
Right.
If you have a look.
God blimey.
Just look at that top plot.
Yeah.
There's the width of your big hole.
Yeah.
This is high resistance.
Oh.
And that suggests stonework.
Ah, right.
I hope.
Massive stonework.
A massive stonework.
So you think it's a viaduct?
Well, I think that's wishful thinking, but it'd be nice, wouldn't
but
it?
a big mass of something anyway.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah, well,
It's
we're
our
nearly
last
there.
shot.
We're nearly there, look.
I mean, it's got to be points all round if that is real.
And how far down is that from where we are now?
Well, I think it's within the top 5 metres.
Right.
I don't want to say any more than that.
Well, like going down 5 metres, so...
This really is our last chance, isn't it?
Well, the time and the weather, that's got to be, isn't it? Yeah. Keep your fingers crossed.
Oh, I've got everything crossed.
Still not certain whether the casting has worked, the red-hot wheel is carefully cleaned to remove the surplus sand.
Well, here you are then, you're the archaeologist.
Oh, I see, I get to do the brush, do I?
That successfully completed, the furnace is finally closed down. The fire-baked clay bottom is knocked out to remove the last remnants of slag and unburnt fuel.
Good God alive! $1 million question is now, will it fit?
Well, it
Go
better.
on, let's have a look. Let's be bold.
Oh, well, it goes along the ground. Look at this, it's rolling perfectly.
Well, it's round, isn't it? So it would do.
Phil and Harvey's newly cast wheel fits the tram car perfectly. Good for several million miles and virtually indestructible.
That's almost as quick as a Formula One racing car.
The hole's so deep now that Mick has to relay information back to the surface by walkie-talkie, so Rob's taken charge of digger cam.
Hi Chris, I'm down about 2 metres and I've just hit a band of what looks like stone. Do you think that could be your anomaly?
I reckon that's exactly on the spot of the radar anomaly, so that's good news, yeah. Yeah, the problem with it is...
It's actually just a different layer of tip. It's mine stone and stuff.
So I'm actually going to dig through it and keep on going down.
Bullet to Chris.
Listening.
Chris, I'm in the incident room and Sue's just told me where along your line, radar line, that anomaly is, and I plotted it and it drops straight over the point that the viaduct should be according to the map evidence.
Okay, that's fair enough then.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
What's that?
Oh,
it's a culvert.
It's a culvert, it's a tunnel.
It's just
something like that, we got something.
Got a culvert down here, I think, Mike. Can I have a look at it? Just be careful.
Yeah.
Be careful.
Take it steady, yeah. Yeah.
Can I have a look what we've got here?
Oh my God.
There's a big culvert.
Yeah. Well, it looks as if it's going like that, which is surely that's right,
which is the line of the viaduct.
Yeah. And it's the right sort of depth, isn't it? I mean, how far
depth.
down are we talking about here?
Well, I'll plumb it, if you like. We'll go down with
we're
the tape.
6 metres down to this level, aren't we?
We're 6 metres down to here.
And we predicted about 12 for the sort of absolute...
The absolute depth it could be.
Absolute limit, yeah.
So that could be just about right.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see
what he says.
It's very difficult to judge how deep things are from the
Yeah,
top here.
yeah. I would be surprised.
Tell me when I'm there.
A little bit more. That's the top of it. If you do it to that, that's the top of...
The top of it's at about 5 metres below where we are now, at this 6 metre
Well,
level.
that's about right, isn't it? If we're 6 metres down and then 5 metres down to that, and whatever height it is, that takes us to the absolute limit of the level that we worked out earlier.
That takes us to 12 yards.
At almost 6 metres down, it's just out of reach of the digger's arm, and it's far too dangerous to send an archaeologist down. But we can offer a graphical representation of what we've just begun to uncover. The vaulted roof was probably added to prevent spoil falling down and blocking the rail track. How far along the length of the viaduct it ran, we've no way of knowing, but it could very well have covered the whole thing. But we've one last trick up our sleeves. The small hole in the culvert stonework is just too tempting to ignore, so we fixed a remote camera to a pole and dropped it down inside. So there it is, the first glimpse of the viaduct tramway for almost 200 years. Resplendent with stalactites and stalagmites. How do we know it's the viaduct? Well, over there in the gloom, you can just see 2 arches, the original entrances to the mine workings. We've thrown everything at this. We've shifted thousands of tons of muck. We've got our digger drivers to go deeper than we've ever gone before, and it's paid off. But what's really struck me is how these industrial-sized landscapes can cover up not just the houses of the people who worked here, but enormous structures 40 metres long by 10 metres high, which, reluctantly, we're going to have to leave to future archaeologists so that they can get the first glimpse of those tantalising arches. So there we are. After 3 days of glorious work by everyone involved, one thing we can say is that the lost viaduct of Blaenafon is lost no longer. But, of course, lost viaducts aren't the only thing that this area is famous for. Take it away, Maestro. Join Time Team on Patreon to access exclusive 3D models, masterclasses, and behind-the-scenes insights.